Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've hit the bottom of the hour, and it was just about impossible there towards the end to take introductions. Want to do a quick sound check. Do we have Pat Anderson with us? Yes, sir. Russ Bianchi? Yes, sir. Ben Bowers? Looks like we're still waiting on Dr. Ben. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Fred Holmes. I'm an independent distributor with ZJ International, and it's my privilege to welcome you to our Wednesday evening product-focused call for ZJ International. We call it Straight Talk with Russ Bianchi after the formulator of our ZJ products. You just heard Russ indicating he's joined us on the call. This evening, what we're going to do is we're going to have one of our top income earners, top distributors, Pat Anderson from Oklahoma is going to be our guest host this evening, and she'll be interviewing Dr. Russ Bianchi to share information about these incredible Moringa-based products that we're bringing to the marketplace. Now, this evening we know we have a lot of people that have been invited to join us on the call, guests of our distributors, and so a very special welcome to those of you that are invited guests, and also to a brand new distributor, perhaps your first opportunity to hear directly from the healthcare professionals and the formulator of the ZJ products. What we're going to do in just a moment, I'm going to turn the call over to Pat Anderson. I'll just give you, a heads up. You're going to want to grab some note paper and jot down some notes from the information you're going to hear this evening. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a moment to kind of bring everybody up to speed. We know there's a number of people that have been looking at our ZJ income opportunity, and our focus this evening is going to be more on the product itself, but just to kind of give you a little feel for where we've come from. We launched ZJ International a short 6 years ago as the Moringa Company. We are today the world's largest commercial harvester, importer, and producer of Moringa products. Now, you're going to learn more about this botanical throughout the call this evening, but the real story behind ZJ started a few years before our launch when the Discovery Channel produced a documentary on this Moringa tree. It's a botanical, pretty much unheard of in the Western world. But what we found is this was, they reported this to be the world's most nutrient-rich botanical ever studied by mankind. We learned that a very small quantity of the powdered leaf of this tree was being used in some of the most arid and desolate and poverty-stricken parts of the world to literally reverse childhood starvation in as little as 2 weeks. And that initial video from the Discovery Channel came into the hands of a gentleman by the name of Ken Brailsford. And the significance of that event will be lost on you until you realize who Ken Brailsford is. Ken is an icon in both the nutritional and direct marketing or network marketing industries. Ken and his siblings were co-founders of a company by the name of Nature's Sunshine back in the 70s. I know many of you are familiar with Nature's Sunshine. It has become a billion-dollar, almost 40-year-old company today. Ken went on in the 80s to found another one of the industry's billion-dollar legacy companies, Enrich International, continuing today almost 30 years in business, now under the name of Unicity. And when Ken saw that original documentary from the Discovery Channel, he recognized that this botanical, this single product, could do more good for mankind than he'd done with perhaps the hundreds of other products his previous two companies had developed. And that's what launched ZJ International just a short 6 years ago. And so I'm not going to spend more time on the information of the company because tonight our real focus is the product. We're going to have a special announcement at the conclusion of this call, which will give you an opportunity to learn much more in depth about the income opportunities available with our company. But what I want to do now is go over to Salisaw, Oklahoma, and Pat Anderson is one of our company's top distributors, a Diamond Elite, a member of our Distributor Leadership Council, and frankly one of the most knowledgeable healthcare professionals that we have in our company. And Pat, it's exciting to hear you tonight in particular, since we were afraid you were going to be doing a Wizard of Oz Dorothy imitation last night. not to make a lot of the tragedies that have happened out there, but we're really glad that you're all safe and sound and in one piece. And I'm going to hand the call over to you because everybody's excited to hear the information from you and from Uncle Russ.
Well, thank you so much, Fred. I appreciate that. And yes, our prayers go out to all the people that have had tragedies with these tornadoes. Boy, what exciting times we're having in Zija. You know, we're taking this product company, you know, around the world, and we see the momentum happening right now. And every organization is growing so fast right now. So, guests, really welcome to this call. You're in for a treat because tonight I have both the Formula Russ Bianchi and Dr. Ben Bowers on, and we are going to really talk about why Moringa and why you would want to be part of a company that promotes Moringa, Moringa free. So with that, welcome to both Russ and Ben.
Good evening. Good evening, Ben. How are you doing?
Great, great. So what I want right now is just, give a quick introduction, starting with Russ, on a little bit of background, Russ, of how you came to the plate, because we're growing 20% per month, so there's so many new people on this line with us tonight. So.
Okay, great. Good evening to everyone from on the road. Uncle Russ here, out supporting your businesses. My name is Russ Bianchi. I'm the managing director, founder and CEO of a company called Adept Solutions Incorporated. We're based in Monterey, California, and we are product developers. We create, convert, and stabilize. We do it in pharmaceutical and drug development, food and beverage, skincare and cosmetics, functional and dietary supplementation, flavor chemistry and stabilization, cosmetics, chocolate, confectionery. The list is long. If you've perhaps ever consumed or seen an energy bar in the world, we've done the vast majority of successful brands that are on the marketplace today from the late 1980s forward. We came to this for two reasons and two reasons only. A, the science was overwhelming on what the correct form of Moringa could do. There's lots of pretenders out there thinking they have Moringa, only Zija International does. But the real reason we came was the founder, Ken Brownsford. He gave us a solemn promise, a gentleman's promise, that if we were to get there with an efficacious formula, it would never be dumbed down. Not only did he exceed that promise, he went far beyond that and even built a state-of-the-art pharmaceutical plant, FDA inspected to the highest levels of integrity, quality assurance, and control, HACCP safety standards, through from production, literally through finished brands. Ben?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Ben Bowers from Kansas, practicing chiropractor for about the last 30 years. My practice focuses on what is called internal diagnosis and disorders and functional medicine. And most people go, what in the world is that? Basically what we do in our clinic is our job is to find the cause of the problem of the dysfunction or the disease in the body, and then find the best and probable way to try to eradicate that and return health back to the body. And in doing that, I have been teaching thousands of doctors around the years, all around the country, probably in excess of 10,000 plus doctors a year. Plus I've developed computer-based systems for doctors to use around the world on how to interpret and analyze symptomatology and diagnostic entities of things that are wrong. The whole objective there is to find out why a patient is ill in the first place, and then what it's going to take to return them back to health. Back to that.
Okay, excellent. I just want to quickly, Ben, like a lot of practitioners that are even listening on the call, you came into this not really wanting to do it because we see so many concoction companies out there. So what made you change your mind?
Well, first and foremost, skepticism has my name attached to it. Been there, done that, pretty much seen everything that patients are on. When you have patients come into your office and they literally bring in, boxes of supplements and pills and all the like, and they've tried everything out there. The first thing that impressed me is people are trying to get well. Not very many people truly want to remain ill or sick. So when you say that I was reluctant, I got to be honest with everybody. Had it not been for my sister, who was the one that approached me on this, I would have done like I've done on pretty much everything else and said, thanks, but no thanks, not interested. But I hope you do well with it. I'll monitor you on it, but I am not interested in the business. And I have kind of an additional condition to that. For those who don't know my story, I used to be paralyzed. I've had seizures. I've had a lot of other health conditions in my life. That's why I pursued health as fast as I could. My wife also had an autosomal condition that was causing her a lot of problems. And so we have constantly, for 3 years, were looking for help, and we were avoiding all of the, wannabe wishful thinking type of products that are out there. They're basically just based upon junk science or junk products. And so when my sister challenged me to look at it because of a condition that she had, I basically said, all right, I'll do my due diligence, I'll look at it, and I'll tell you my opinion. But I'm telling you right now, it's probably not going to be very good, and I don't want to do it. Boy, when she left and I went on to my research centers that I do, because I write about 30 manuals a year for doctors, I want to tell you what, I wasn't just shocked, I was blown away. I put over 1,400 peer-reviewed empirical research and published articles on the Moringa Malunggay. And folks, you don't find that on a product like this. You don't find that on drugs out there. You don't find that on most anything. You're lucky to find 25 to 50 published. You're lucky if it's that high. It's probably more 5 to 10 or 15. And when I saw that, I stopped and looked at what in the world is this? And I spent probably the next 3 or 4 weeks, literally hours after hours, studying and reading and researching over 2,000 different articles. And when I saw what it was, I knew one thing. It was going to help my wife, and I was going to put her on it. Yeah. So from that, I was still reluctant, still skeptical. I went in, brought it into my practice, put over 40-some patients on it. And after I got all the results, I'd sit down and analyze them. My wife looked at me and she said, what are you going to do with this? I said, I don't know, but I've got to bring this in as part of the protocols of what we do in the office. And at that time, we decided to get involved only in a product sense. We didn't understand the business, didn't want to do the business, so I got involved from the product sense alone. Since then, I've learned more.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
so that's...
So, Russ, he looked at all of this research, and there is lots of it out there. What is in the Moringa that has excited everybody?
Yeah, I've been in this for 36 years, all continents except Antarctica. I don't have any penguin clients yet. Maybe that's coming, I'm not sure. But I've done, our company's probably worked with the top 500 pharmaceutical companies in the world in a 3.5-decade career, and literally tens of thousands of products that we have touched or reformulated or created to begin with. But I've never come across a single ingredient, in this case a botanical, with more nutrient density. This literally has multiple hundreds of times what one needs in terms of vitamins and minerals on a daily content basis. It is extremely high in omega-3, 6, and 9, naturally occurring, that's absorbable, unlike fish oils, flaxseed, shea seed, seaweed, and other sources that don't work. It has 36, that's 3 dozen different anti-inflammatories in it. I just didn't say ibuprofen and aspirin here, guys. I said 3 dozen. It has dozens upon dozens of antioxidants, anti-carcinogens, kinase inhibitors. It has all the amino acids, 9 essentials that our bodies don't produce. If we don't get, we're in a lot of trouble. So it is, by any empirical standard, scientific, metabolic, physiological, absorbable, most nutrient-dense, botanical, known science. And it hasn't been around just recently. It's been around for at least 6,200 years that we can document. You literally can go to Exodus, and Moses, 20 years in, uses the moringa tree to purify the waters and Mahara, the Sinai. So if it can do that, imagine what it might do for your body. Now, we're nobody's doctor here tonight. We are not diagnosing, treating, preventing, curing, mitigating, or prescribing, but we are delivering nutrient value, fully bioavailable and absorbable, simply no one else has. So we're using it from all constituent parts of the correct moringa that nobody else has. Leaf puree, fruit puree, seed cake, cellulose fiber, oil, the list is long. There's lots of documentation that we could allude to. You can go to russbianchi.com. Dr. Joshua Plant is currently in Okinawa with our CEO, Rod Larson. Has a lot of data that he talks about every Thursday on Ask the Scientist. He's our Director of Science and Research. Great to have Josh on board to expand the demand we need in terms of backing up what we know to be in a class by itself, several light years ahead of any other nutritional combination out there at any price from anyone.
Well, before I go over to Ben again, there's so much moringa leaf on the internet for sale. Why are we different than those companies and what they're producing?
Word at grass cuttings. You want cellulose? If that's what you're buying a tropical varietal full of moisture, no nutrient value, and I even encourage people to go try it because they won't get the results. Only the results one will get are from Zika. And those are guaranteed, 100% money back guarantee, up to 90% for 1 full year. I don't think you can name me another product, brand, or service, Pat, that will do that. But it's the case on a daily basis with Zika International because we know we deliver nutrient results. To quote Ken Brailsford, our founder, give the body what it needs. It's the body that self-corrects.
I agree with you. Dr. Ben? So one of the things that when I got involved with Zika and did my research, I was excited about the 36 anti-inflammatories. Why is that so important for the body?
Well, let me just take a couple minutes to kind of walk through a little story or scenario here so we understand. First of all, in the human body, there are over 400 plus different diseases that we know of, right? And the number keeps growing as we keep changing our food supply. But at this point, we know what they are. And of those, the top 2 killers that are more than 50 to 60% of all killers in America happen to be cardiovascular, heart conditions, and cancers. Now, in the heart conditions, you have 40 different regulated type of disease entities. In the cancers and neoplasms, there's over 225. Well, why do I bring that up? When we look at that, the 2 commonalities for all those 400 plus diseases is a term that's called oxidation for radicalization and inflammation. So let's think about this here real quick. What is the purpose of oxygen? People think, well, we need to breathe oxygen to live. True, but what is it oxygen does? And what most people do not realize, oxygen is a splitter, a cutter, a converter. If we have enough oxygen and we have enough of the right nutrients in our system, then the amount of oxygen consumed will do its job and break all the stuff down, and now we have building blocks. So we have to stop and analyze what we're eating. Now, for those who have been around 60 or 70 years, they know that the food that we have today is not the food that they were raised on. I was born in the 50s, and I will even tell you then, even though it was going down, the food that I was raised on in the 50s and 60s is not what we eat today. In fact, when you do the analysis of food that we eat, there is only 5 to 40% of the nutritional value that we had 60 and 70 years ago. So here's my question to all of us listening on the call tonight. When we eat, if we're eating food that does not have that nutrient value, how are we ever going to create energy and building blocks in our bodies? And the reason that becomes significant is it's the oxygen that is required to break that down. Well, if we consume something the body cannot break down, we now have excess junk in our system, and we have too much oxygen running around. That oxygen is what metal out in the elements outside in the elements will do. It will turn it to rust. Well, that's what's happening in our body. That's called free radicalization. And that causes an inflammatory condition in our body. And inflammation, specifically chronic inflammation, leads to such things as fatigue, loss of energy, loss of cognition, inability to think correctly, brain fog. It will also ultimately lead into muscle pains, joint pain, spasms, all those conditions. And then the end game of that is what we call autosomal conditions, things such as arthritis, thyroiditis, pancreatitis, inflammatory bowel disease, cardiovascular problems, diabetes. When we look at all the top 10 killers in America, those are all chronic inflammatory conditions. Now, as a practicing physician, a clinician out here in the field, treating all these conditions, what is it that I have to give my patients that will have a great significant benefit? As Dr. Russ said, we can give ibuprofen, or we can give, Tylenol, we can give some other OTC or counter anti-inflammatory. But here's the problem. They don't work, or they don't work for very long, or you have to keep taking more and more and more of them. And the problem that we develop is we have unregulated, unchecked, unmanaged oxidation, which increases inflammation, and now we lose the ability to shut off the fires in our body, all because we're eating food that is void of its nutritional value.
Yep.
And then along comes Zija. Now we have a product that has 46 antioxidants and 36 anti-inflammatories. That is akin to saying that you're going to go from, California to Florida on either a jet plane or on a bicycle. Wow. It's huge what we have here. And after 1,800 people that I've monitored, watched, and seen on this product in the last 4 years, I want to tell you, we get some pretty miraculous results. Because, as Russ said, if you give the body what it needs and you get out of the way and let it do its God-given ability, it is going to repair and try to correct itself. That's the significance of Zija in the fact that it fights oxidation and inflammation. And there is nothing, in the thousands of things that I have checked and monitored in the last 30 years of practice, and that Russ has worked on and had in the last 36 years of doing this work, folks, it ain't there. This is the only thing that is out there. And that's why when some people take this, it seems like they have miraculous results because they do get them.
Well, we definitely hear all the results. So, Russ, let's just talk about the very first product that you developed, the Smart Mix. Was it very difficult to create?
Yes. the answer, or in the form of a question for Jeopardy, what is yes? The answer, maybe I'll get a daily double off of that. The bottom line here is we failed past 143 times with a team of scientists. There was one major problem. There were two problems. A, which moringa? Multiple dozens of kinds of moringa, all different stable nutrient values, multiple dozens upon dozens upon dozens of countries that it grows 10 degrees plus or minus the equator, no commercial supplies, unstable economic and socio-political environments, and then when we found the one that had all the good stuff in it, it tastes terrifically bad and smelled worse. So we had to overcome that without harming the nutrients that the creator put there in the first place. That took 143 failures before we got there. Tom Edison once said he knew 989 ways not to make an incandescent light bulb. Uncle Ross and the team of scientists know 143 ways not to make Zija.
Mm-hmm. So, well, you put, you talked about all the different parts of the tree that you use, and so that all went into the Smart Mix. But it's not a concoction company like all the other ones out there using concentrates and stuff.
Total vertical integration path, literally from organic plantations, standard through finished brands, enzymatically alive or fully bioavailable of all the constituent parts. No one has moringa from anywhere. I don't care if you've seen it on a TV show, a radio show, the internet, a health food store. I don't care if they tell you it's, back from the dead from some saint or something. The bottom line is very simple. They don't have what we have, and the results don't lie. Ben talking about lack of nutrients. In the drug development business, and the last just under 6,000 drugs approved by the regulatory agencies in North America in the last 25 years past, the average number of adverse and harmful side effects per drug, up to and including premature death, is 70 per drug. You can read 2 books at the public library. The Truth About the Drug Companies by Dr. Marcia Angel, MD, retired editor-in-chief of the New England Journal of Medicine. The brand new one out called Bad Pharma by Ben Goldacre. Read that, you will literally be afraid to take a baby aspirin. As a matter of fact, they made it up in a marketing department some 18 years ago that a baby aspirin is good for you. There's no science behind that. It weakens your liver to then create a gateway to put you on statins, beta blockers, ACE inhibitors, and other stuff to harm you more. Medicine has become sick care. If you hang around whether dispensing drugs, I am telling you flat out, you are not going to get well. The bottom line on all of this, Pat, is a genius at the University of California, San Francisco Medical School by the name of Elizabeth Blackburn, Nobel laureate a couple of years ago, proved what many others knew but didn't prove, including Linus Pauling, that the basis for disease may have a genetic predisposition. It is what Ben talks about, the oxidative stress, but it's the oxidative stress on an enzyme, a shellac, a varnish, a protective coating called a telomerase enzyme, on the DNA, your chromosomal expression, that twisty ladder from 30,000 combinations and 270 trillion cells in your body. Do we know that real nutrition benefits that? Does it hinder that versus drugs? The answer is an emphatic yes.
Well, I love the new super mix that you guys came out with. You can sure feel the difference.
Josh Plant read, I don't know how many thousands of studies in our collaboration on that, and we are getting hundreds of % more moringa. And if you're not doing I do super mix daily now. I had a head cold living on airplanes last week, and I took 2 super mix today. I'm ready to go, and I'm going to be on a plane tomorrow morning again. What I'm telling you is, you got to give the body real fuel that we're not in food today. My new bumper sticker is, it's the food chain stupid. I don't mean that rhetorically or aimed at anyone. I mean it literally. UCLA Medical Center, who's not long ago, that one 12-ounce soda pop, I didn't say 16-ounce can, I said 12-ounce soda pop, one a week for 6 months, not if, will lower intelligence quotient in any prepubescent child by up to 50 points. Folks, you're poisoning yourself if you're in the center aisles of the supermarket.
Well, Ben, we absolutely loved when they came out with the weight management system. You know, we all talk about, because of our food chain, we're eating the wrong foods now, the processed stuff, and everybody is putting on the poundage. What do you think of this system, and let's talk a little bit about it.
First of all, it's phenomenal. It really absolutely is. One of the things we first noticed, 3 or 4 years ago, Pat, when you and I and Russ were all working on these things, is we noticed that people are losing weight. And so when we went back and looked at why they're losing weight and what was actually affecting in the body, we found the hormonal dysregulation, the systemic degradation that was occurring, and that when you put all the right nutrients in this body, you upregulate what are called monoamines or neurotransmitters in the brain, which help you control satiation or your hunger pains, if you will. And we were noticing this, and let me just kind of put it real simple. When you give the body what it needs, and it operates on that powerful nutrition, you need less and less. When you give the body a bunch of junk and it gets no energy, it needs more and more of the junk to get the few little small percent of energy that it needs for either 2 things, 1, energy, or 2, building blocks. In touching what Russ talked about on other moringa that's out there, where I am as a clinician, a practicing physician, is I have patients all around the country and the world that get other moringa products. And the interesting thing is I watch and monitor all their labs and their diagnostic data. Nobody, and I mean nobody, gets the results unless they're on Zija, right? Unless they're consuming, fresh leaves, which, by the way, there's some benefit, versus dry powder, which there's some benefit, only if it's from the right varietal. Right? And that's the key that Russ was talking about. We have been able to prove that the people don't get the results. But those on Zija, as soon as we convert them over to Zija, they make tremendous results. Okay? The second thing that I just want to talk about is how do we build the body's ability to repair itself from all the damage, which is excess weight, obesity, overweight. We give the body all the stuff that it needs. And when I was talking about the inflammation, how do we give the body its ability to fight or counteract inflammation, which inflammation, as Russ was just talking about, weakens the immune system. And when you weaken weaken the immune system. You have no defenses left, and these sugars, these problems out there, they change those neurotransmitters and those monoamines in your brain. He was talking about the telomeres and also the endomeres that it has an effect on. It changes it, and it's permanent on some of these people. So how do we reverse that? We reverse it by giving it the strongest immunity on the planet. What is that in? It's in whole foods, real food. The strongest one is in Moringa oleifera. There is no other comparison for all the building blocks, the constituents, what Josh talks about, the phytocompounds. There is nothing else on the planet that has as much as Moringa oleifera has to boost the immune system. So, we're giving you good nutrition, we're reducing oxidation inflammation, we're repairing, rebuilding, and regenerating the body, and in the process of doing that, the body says, we got to get rid of this fat, we got to get rid of all this junk, and now you turn on the systems that were broken, and you start to break down the stored fat. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what makes this product line work so well. And of all the 1,000-plus diet programs that I have monitored, and bariatrics is one of my specialties that I deal with. Bariatrics is a study of weight and weight loss. And when I've evaluated thousands of programs, and I don't care whether it's cardboard food that you eat, stuff you get in the mail, pills that you take, whatever you want to call those things, I have found nothing that gives us the permanent results that we have with the Zeta Weight Management System. And you can go online, you can read all about it. We probably have time to go into all the product detail, except for this one thing, ladies and gentlemen. It works. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of patients that have all lost over 100 pounds, and they've been able to keep it off. Not for just 90 days or 6 months or 9 months or 12 months, but 1, 2, 2.5, 3.5 years. And anytime you go past the 2-year benchmark, it's permanent weight loss. Everybody else's diet plan is pushing you for what we call a seasonal effect. You know, we have summer coming on. Everybody wants to look good in a bathing suit. They want to drop a few pounds when they go outside and expose themselves. The beauty about this is it's permanent. And if you stick with the program and you do what we have written up for you, you will get the results. Or you'll find the reason you're not getting results, why when you've been on every other diet in the world, it's not working, because something is wrong in your system. What I love about the Zeta product line and the weight management system specifically, it has all the building blocks to correct the imbalances and to restore God-given normal functionality back in that body. And that's why people lose weight and they're keeping it off.
Excellent. Russ, I love the detox tea, the premium tea. Why do you think? Why do we need that?
Well, Pat, if we're converting adipose tissue, stored body fat, potential energy to glucose, we're also releasing toxins stored in that adipose tissue. That will overwhelm the renal system, filtration system, your liver, and therefore you'll hit a plateau at a certain point. Therefore, we're not a diet. Diets have never worked. Kumbaya weigh-in sessions, give me a break. Only point scales noon in Peru, indexes that are not scientifically based, celebrities on TV that were on a treadmill 7 days a week with somebody whipping them from behind, and then they get on TV and tell you the food coming to your house, or the packaging tastes better than the food, is somehow going to magically make you lose the weight permanently. Those haven't worked for 35 years, Pat. The bottom line here is we have a system, not a diet. Real-based nutrition that's not been in food or beverage, catalytic conversion for satiation to convert body fat, burn potential energy, and then detoxify with the tea. And it is the combination of the three that work. Diets don't work, never have worked, and never will work. I don't care if we get the new, most fangled, alleged one that works. You'll gain the weight back because it's not in food or beverage anymore. Well, I got another bumper sticker too. Drugs kill, plants cure. These are national's most efficacious plant nutrients available in nutrition.
It is. So that is our system. So we have the pure nutrition, we have an AM capsule, we have a PM capsule, we have the detox tea. But you know what? I'm one of those people that gains weight because I don't eat enough. So I was so excited when you came out with the Prime 90 meal replacement. Why is ours different, Russ, than the rest of them on the market?
Well, I told you earlier, for those listening, that we had done the vast majority of successful brands in the bar business, including many very successful protein bars. Well, the problem with that, the body can only absorb so much protein in a given period of time. In addition to that, what happened is they started putting in caseinated, isolated, concentrated, acidified, hydrogenated, genetically modified protein sources. And we've now proven that both soy and corn from any source, protein or otherwise, cause cancer. If you are consuming soy or corn, let me repeat that, you are increasing your potential for cancer because it's all genetically modified. Genetic modification is to nutrition and wellness what despot, eugenic, tyrannical governments are to freedom and peace. The bottom line is this: get away from the stuff that will harm you, which is soy and corn and wheat, and the list is getting larger as the death merchants in the genetically modified business trying to hide it on labels from you continue to bamboozle and bribe politicians. We use moringa-based protein. Moringa is the most nutrient protein botanical on the planet, more than double that of soy, and not genetically modified. We waited a long time to do Prime 90. We did it in vanilla, we did it in chocolate, and the results don't lie. Never confuse activity with results. These are always as evidentiary-based, empirical results. You could go on YouTube tonight, ladies and gentlemen, go to Luke Curry workout, and you'll see a guy that's broken multiple world records in power weightlifting because of the efficaciousness of our absorbable protein that builds slow and fast twitch muscle, stops lactic acid buildup, stops cramping, stops injury, builds endurance, builds speed, builds recovery, builds performance, and net results. That's the fundamental difference with Prime 90. It is in a class by itself, and I don't care who is claiming in little cartoons on TV that they have nutrition in charge. That is complete garbage, and you may quote me directly. This stuff works, theirs doesn't.
Yes, we're seeing the results in young football players using it. I'm seeing it on and on. Dr. Ben, I know you were excited about the XM3 and XM Plus. What is in that product that gives us energy and we feel so good on it?
Pat, let me just kind of explain in a couple ways. Number one, what I absolutely love about it, it's real, true kinesiology energy. And here's what that means to me as a practicing physician. There's only three real ways that we create energy in our body if we consume all the right nutrients. And one is what we call neuronal, which means it's nerve supply, brainstem regulated all the way down. Number two, it's called the hormonal, which means a hormone such as the adrenal gland produces or two other glands actually help upregulate. It'll kick in during our stressful times, right? And then the third way we create energy is at the cellular level in what we call the mitochondria. And for those that have drank the power drinks or took the power pills or whatever names you want to give it, that get the crash and burn, the jitters and all those other aspects. Here's what I love about what the XM and XM Plus does for us, X3. It actually goes in and it gets into the system and it gets into the cell and it upregulates the cell's ability to convert some of that oxygen I talked about earlier, to convert over into energy production. So in about 15 to 20, 25 minutes, you get a natural rise in energy. You don't get this jolt and this jerk and all this false stimulation that's trying to kick the adrenals or kick the heart or kick the brain. And you get true kinesiology, which means you have power-driven energy from each and every cell. And then, depending upon how much you consume, 1, 2, 3 ounces, whatever it is, and the demand, it's going to last for 2, 3 to 4 hours, and then it's naturally going to shut back down. The beauty about this is you don't get the crash, you don't get the burn, you don't get all the problems with the stimulation and all the wrong systems. And when everything is natural in its organic state and we give it to the body and we don't pre-process it, we
let the body take something that's natural, that it knows what to do, and break it down the way it knows how to break it down. That's why we get phenomenal energy. And we've had every type of athlete on this that we've monitored and watched, even professional badminton athletes. Can you believe that? I didn't realize that's a thing until I have a few of them. But I mean, from boxers to skaters to soccer, football, you name it, professional to, tiny tots. We have all these different people.
And let's not forget the National Hockey League. Go Sharks.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Uncle Russ. You're right, my man. But the beauty of it is it works and it gets results. And that's the thing. And people will tell you that on this product, man, they feel it's just a natural ability to perform. Personally, for me, my breakfast consumes one Smart Mix and one of that XM Plus. I combine those together, about 30 ounces of water, and that is my breakfast. I rise up when I do my reading in the morning, and I drink that over about a 30-minute time period, and I am satiated till about 12:30, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. That gives me almost 6 hours of nutrient and energy. And I'm a high-active person. I'm constantly on the go, and I don't wane or I don't wear out of fatigue in that sense when I'm drinking that drink. And it works. That's the beauty of what it is.
It works. That's the beauty. Yep. Okay, guys. I know we're over time, and we always are when we get together, the three of us. So what I want from you guys is to tell the listeners, in your own words, why they should even look at what we have. Ben?
Let me tell you from a personal standpoint. First of all, I'm a doctor, almost 30 years. I've been paralyzed. I've had cancer. I've had grand mal seizures, petit mal seizures, and I've known how to keep my body in check for all this time that I've been a practicing physician. Number two, I had a wife that had an autosomal condition that at 32 they said she would probably die by 35. She lived 20 plus years in that sense. I have 2 grown children. I have 7 grandchildren. Here's the significance of that. Every one of us are on it, and we have phenomenal results, and it is deriving health benefits. My grandchildren, my newest one, that's not even 2 weeks old, right, at 30 days, we will start giving a half to 1 ounce drop of the mix, of Smart Mix in the drink. That's how important it is. It's something so precious to me, my life and my children, which is my entire family. If I'm going to give them the best that there is, and I've researched it all, and it's Zija, wow. To me, that's the greatest thing that I can tell you. It's not hype, it's results. As Russ says, it's documented, scientifically proven, and we know this stuff works. And oh, by the way, my grandchildren are some of the smartest grandchildren out there. They are, and my oldest ones are athletes that have functioned on a national level at 7 and 8 years of age as wrestling, because he's been on this for almost 4 years. It's phenomenal what it has done for them. And it's really, the ones that have been tested, they are at genius level, because since their birth, well, of 5 of them, since their birth, we have been giving them Zija in the Smart Mix, and they are loving it.
Mm-hmm. I know. I have 4 grandbabies, and they love it, too. And my horses love it, which is very important to me. So, Russ, what about you?
Billionaires don't get more stupid. Hannah has built 2 companies, both efficacious. I think the most telling quotation is Kemp's. I can do with 1 tree what took me multiple hundreds of other raw materials and botanicals to do as the father of encapsulation. I've been on this planet, been to over 150 countries. I have worked for some of the largest and among the smallest and in the middle of all different categories of food and beverage and applications. And as I told you before, I've never seen anything like this. When you get over 9 out of 10 people that are getting results within 7 to 21 days and reporting that to you on a consistent basis, you know you have something that's extremely tangible. This is what I will tell you. This company, literally from its own plantations through FDA-inspected, state-of-the-art pharmaceutical-grade plants, can deliver about $2 billion worth of raw fish goods right now. This company's going to double again in the next 90 days, and maybe double even more again prior to convention. This company is among the fastest growing companies on the planet in any category. There must be a reason for it, and the reason is we're delivering results that are not available elsewhere. Do I foresee this to be a multi-double-digit billion-dollar company within a decade? Yes. Will there be the supply? Yes. Because there's no volume that anyone can throw at us. Even if today somebody brought on 3 new countries that we can't handle and will handle effectively at the highest qualitative levels.
I agree. I am just so excited to be a part of this company and look forward to the next couple of decades. So I appreciate both of you joining me tonight, and with that, I'm going to pass the call back to Fred Holmes. Thank you.
Pat, thank you very much, and a special thanks to Dr. Ben and to Uncle Russ for the information you shared with us. Lady, gentlemen, it's always an incredibly informative call when we have all 3 of you with us. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I want to do 2 things. I have an announcement for you. Tomorrow evening, we're going to be hosting at this same time on this conference bridge a very special information call on the income opportunities available with ZG International. See, what we have is incredible products that people truly need, they truly want, and the fact of the matter is the only place they can get them is from an independent distributor. With ZG International, we're going to have one of our company's top income earners sharing specific information about how to build a business and to create true long-term leverage residual income. And then secondly, what I want to do is I want to put a challenge out to those of you that have been invited as guests to listen in on our call. If you haven't had a chance to try our ZG products, take us up on our unconditional 30-day money-back guarantee. Try the products for yourself. Find out why so many people have been joining this company and using our products, both as customers and distributors. Get back with the person that invited you to be on this call and get your opportunity to try our products risk-free as well. With that, again, special thanks to Pat, Ben, and Russ for joining us this evening. We always appreciate the efforts you put in for all of us here in the field. I'm going to go ahead and open up the lines, close out the call. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. Sacramento, California. Amazing call. Thank you. And 12 visitor hours. Steve Murray, Charlotte, North Carolina.